Learn 9 important tips for handling presentation questions from ToomeyBusinessEnglish.com. Welcome to Toomey Business English. If you like this content, then please like and subscribe to our channel. So, you've done a great presentation conclusion, and now it's time to handle questions. This is a make or break time for presenters. Most presenters would admit that this is the part of the presentation that they dread, and there are many reasons for this. Their thinking is, I can control the rest of the presentation, but not this bit. I can't rehearse the questions or the answers. I have to think too fast. I might not know the answers. I might find out people didn't like it. I might have made a mistake. So overall, there's a lot of negative thinking towards handling questions, which can be destructive. Dealing with questions in a presentation is a skill that anyone can master. And in this lecture, I'll introduce you to some key tips in handling questions. And moving on to our first tip at number 1. At the start of your presentation, explain when your audience can ask questions. And this process helps you to have a degree of control over proceedings. And here are 3 phrases that you can use when handling questions. Feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. I will take questions at the end of the presentation. Now, personally, I like this phrase. I'll always tell my audience that they can answer questions towards the end of the presentation, and it really helps me mentally as I know the time slot in which I'll get asked questions. Therefore, there are no real surprises. So I'm giving a thumbs up to this phrase. Moving on, our next phrase. There will be a 10 minutes questions and answer session at the end of the presentation. And once again, I like this phrase. I'll use it. It gives me a degree of control in the presentation, so I'll give it a thumbs up. Moving on now to my second tip. It's to adopt a mindset of celebrating questions. And now, I'm not saying to do what this presenter is doing in the video and to celebrate literally, but audiences don't ask questions if they don't care. So they are interested in what you've said, they are engaged. So try to celebrate questions. In your mind, try to see questions as a positive audience action rather than a scary experience. Moving on to tip number 3, know your target audience. It's important to know your audience. This way, you can prepare in advance to anticipate what questions you might get. In addition to knowing your audience, you can look at tip number 4, which is to prepare your answers in advance. And indeed, you can make a reasonable guess about what the questions are going to be. If you know your topic well, the chances are that you'll be able to anticipate the kind of questions you will get. And this brings us to tip number 5, which is that you can design your answers. And this is a super useful tip. It means creating and designing those slides with answers in advance and having these ready. If a question comes up that has a relevant answer slide, you can type in the slide number to make the answer appear. Tip number 6, make sure you listen to the entire question. Too many people start responding to a question before the entire question is even asked. And you've got to be careful, as you don't want to provide a response which had nothing to do with the question. So listen fully and respond when you are fully certain that you understand. Tip number 7, it's to pause and repeat the question. And this means to pause and allow yourself time to value the question and listener, and then repeat the question out loud so the entire audience can hear it. It's really important that everyone can hear the question. All the answer you provide may not make sense to some of the people in the audience, and by repeating the question, this will allow you some additional time to evaluate the question and formulate a response. Tip number 8 is to manage your audience's questions, and don't be overwhelmed with questions from the audience. You can really manage them easily, and here's a simple way of doing it. You can use this phrase of I'll take you first, you second, and you third. And this way you're in control. And as you can see from the picture, the presenter is very much taking charge of the room. She is smiling and confident in her body language. And the phrase doesn't really have to be said in a serious tone. It can be said in a light-hearted way too. And last but not least, use the 32 handling questions phrases on our YouTube channel, and you'll be equipped with phrases ranging from not knowing the answer to a question to asking the audience member to repeat, clarifying a question, checking whether an audience member is satisfied, acknowledging responses to good questions. Overall, it's a very useful lesson to watch. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the Toomey Business English channel.